Hello, everyone. Thank you for your time on our YouTube channel. Thank you for subscribing, liking, commenting, and sharing with loved ones. I believe you are benefiting from this YouTube channel. You are boosting your skills. You are excelling at your workplace, and you building hope that you can really succeed or land a new job using the skills you are learning. I believe you are also sharing with your loved ones because they also need to benefit, they need to learn. And of course, there is a huge support given to us. From our very last Clash course, we discussed File and Home tabs under Excel, and this is the time we discuss Insert tab. This is a tab with a lot of functionalities that everyone needs to know and everyone needs to use them to succeed and to excel in their workplace. I always consider that we may happen to have new learners and those who are new to Excel. That's why I will start with seeing how to save our documents so that they can just benefit from that. You will just need to come and click File, you go to Save As, you go to Browse, you go to your disk, you go to a certain file where I would like to save this, and from there you go to content creation, then a subfolder, Excel tutorials. Then I give it a name, insert tab tutorial, and of course my data is saved. Just deleting something, and I click Control S, that means I've automatically saved. And you are always to quickly or constantly save any changes you make to avoid any cases of losing your data. I did Control Z to bring back the other number that I deleted, and I can also do Control S to save it again, to save the changes. So what can we see under Insert tab? What are we going to discuss? Clicking on Insert tab, we see pivot table, recommended pivot tables, table, illustrations, recommended charts under charts. We have sparklines, line columns. We have slice filters. We have links. We have text and symbol. What are we going to discuss this? Except timeline and pivot tables. We are almost going to discuss every other feature here for us to see what they can do or what we can just do with them. And of course, pivot tables are a very extended chapter, and they will have its own. We need a separate crash course to discuss pivot tables as well as timeline, because timeline goes hand in hand with pivot tables. You can't use timeline without pivot tables. For slicers also work with pivot tables, but something good about them, they can also work with normal tables. That's why we'll have a very short look about them. And I believe the session is going to be as amazing and engaging as usual. Please remember to always use comment section to tell us the section that was very, very important to you, or just ask clarifying questions that you need. We should really clarify much better. We are here to help you out. The student maybe feel lost. So let's get started. I will start with an important shortcut. How to add a table in Excel without necessarily coming to insert table. Just come where you have your data, select any single cell, so long as like there is no empty cell in between your data. Then you click Control T. Then you see this popping up, create a table. Then they ask you whether your table has a header, and of course mine does, but let's just say it doesn't and see what happens. When you say your table doesn't have headers, there will be columns numbered like this. You see it's numbered from 1 up to 8 simply because I have 8 columns. Then this will mean you will need to come here and give them, just edit this column 1 and column 2 and give them a certain name that you want your table to have as headers. Let's say employee name again, and just do the whole way up to column 8. Then for us, we have headers. Let's do Control Z and see what happens. While we tick, we have headers with our table. Let's do Control T again. Then you see this is automatically ticked. We can immediately do OK. Click OK. You see this first line is marked as a header. You see it has a different font size and font type. You can easily detect that. This is something very simple to see, and I believe you are also practicing after me. Let's do Control Z again to see something else. Let's again do Control T. Now you see the entire data area is selected. But what if we would like to change this? Let's say you want to extend your table even beyond the area where you have data. You can come and maybe say here it ends on the 650 low, for instance, and this H is the letter of a column where your data ends. Now maybe let's change it into R. Then you click OK. Now you see the table has been extended beyond the last column where we have data, which is H. And it has again started the counting, column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4. You can come and just do some edits here as usual. You can name it, for instance, the new eligibility. Let's say for those whose contract ended, you are trying to ask yourself whether you will renew their contract or not. Maybe new salary, new end contract end date, maybe the other time the contract is extended up to, and so forth. And when you scroll down, you will see that the table has been created even beyond where we have data. Our last column, our last row with data is 501, but our table goes beyond 501 and stops up to 650. I believe you can simply see this. You see, these other columns or rows are not looking similar with these where we have highlighted our table to end. Now you can just minimize the table using this two ends arrow, then you move it like this. We'll be deleting some. You can see now our table is ending on H column. It's no longer going on these new columns that we added, and maybe we don't need this data. We can even delete them. We don't need them. We can also do the same from bottom up to also minimize where the table ends going down. We just come and move it upward up to the area where you want your table to stop. I believe we are now there. So you can see now this area is no longer looking like table. It looks like a normal Excel sheet with no data. Something you can easily see, and maybe you can again practice Control S to save the changes. Something you can keep trying to make sure you never forget about it. But again, this was a shortcut. I was trying to show you some shortcuts. Let's again do Control Z to have our data without a table. You can see this is the rough data that we are using. Now let's try to use the wrong way of adding a table. Again, we will select a single cell. For instance, because you have data with no empty cells, we go to insert, we go to select, to insert now table, then the rest remains the same. We can quickly click OK. Doing a Control Z, you can also start by selecting, I mean, clicking Control A to select the entire data, or just you start from the first column and first arrow, I mean first cell, light directly to where your data ends, going leftwise, then you move down until you reach the bottom end of your data. Then you go to Insert, Table. Again, we say we have headers. And we now have a table. From different ways of doing it, now you can have a table in Excel. Say congrats to yourself and please tell us how you feel about this achievement. Please interact. Now, after you have a table in Excel, what can you do with this one? You have a lot of features, even if we maybe, let's say, don't know some other uh, workarounds in insert tab. This one could give you a lot of features and functionalities. Let's use this drop down under departments. You can sort them from A to Z. You see, it starts with admin because it's the one starting with A. And like the last one will be sales, because sales is the one with the latest letter from A going directly to Z. If we had a department starting with Z, that would be the last one. So you can also again sort from Z to A, and admin comes last now. And of course, believe me, it's not changing only this column. The data is changing in the entire table. Because if this William read in admin comes down, all the relevant data like performance score and so forth, we just come down, not taking some data from a certain other employee, but the entire table will be changed and everyone will have their relevant and equivalent data as before. What else can we do here? You see, we have sort by color, but this is something, if you watched the very first clash course on conditional formatting, that's when you can remember this. So this is not doable since we didn't have some colors given to this data, unless we add some colors, which is not our target and purpose today. We also have text filters. You can We did all this in a conditional formatting. You can filter according to words, like cells having some words equal to a certain word or does not equal to, or some cells, let's say, does not equal to cells, for instance. You see, we have the list of departments, but cells is not there because we say they want to filter and remain with only cells that do not have cells within themselves. So you see, like, table gives you a lot of functionalities, and if you need to understand conditional formatting, you will find a link hyperlinked. Let's do Ctrl Z to have all our departments back. Series is back again. You can check. You see we have cells now. And we can even choose to have only those that are equal to. I'm just trying to help those who did not watch the conditional formatting video. So let's say now we want those cells with only cells. The other ones will be gone. We have only cells department. The rest is hidden. You cannot see that unless you read and do the sorting, and we can do Ctrl Z to get rid of it. I believe you can easily also see that you can now choose, like, select all. Selecting all also means showing all the departments. But if you untick a single department, that means you don't want it to appear here. And it's not only the IT department that will disappear from the column of department, but the entire related table. I mean the related content in a table will also disappear. We no longer have performance scores of those in IT. We not see attendance percentage of those in IT. Salary the same. Everything is gone for those in IT because we've got rid of it. Can no longer find that. We can again do Control Z to get it back. I'm trying to show you different things that you can do after adding your table. And please be informed that these practices that we are doing right here are applicable to any column. Here now that we have numbers, you can even sort from largest to the smallest. Smallest to largest. You also have colors. You can also take a certain salary. Let's do largest to smallest. This could show Christian is the one gaining a lot of amount. Is the one coming on top. And the next one will be Jason. So you can see a lot of things are really doable with Excel table. You see this with date, sort oldest to newest. You can start with those employees who were employed the very first time to the lead, like going down to the latest. You can also start with newest to the oldest. You can also select a certain year. You see here we don't have all the dates coming. We have only years, but we have this plus thing here where you can just open to have your data opening like months. You also have another plus icon to open specific dates. You see, we have a lot of things to do with Excel tables. This is only possible when you have an Excel table. But we don't actually need maybe to, but let's click something for you to practice. Some dates are gone simply because you have a lot of data. But let's do Control Z and maybe get rid of 1 year. That what will make a lot of impact. Let's remove 2020 and click OK. If you scroll down, you check down all this data, you no longer see 2022 appearing here. You see 2021, 2023. You can no longer see 2020 appearing. But if we do Control Z, you can easily see that here we have 2020, 2020, something that was gone with the other filtering. And imagine Excel is very intelligent to tell that this column entails that a date, and it gives you features different from where there is only a number, and again different from where there is only letters or words. I believe you find this very important. Again, if you are well now aware of how you can do this filtering and sorting, congrats, you've achieved a great milestone. Please type in the comment section to tell us how glad you are about this, and if any challenge, please feel free to ask a clarifying question. Ready to respond. So with a table, we are good to check some other thing from insert. Now we have illustrations. Illustrations are more of drawings, but they will not take a lot of time of hours because they are not really of a high idle. But this is about adding pictures, adding shapes, adding icons, adding models. You see, insert 3D models from device, stock 3D models, screenshots, SmartArt. Let's add image. You can add an image from this device, can stock online. Let's do this device. You can use Let's use which one? Don't to want to use a random image, so that let's use this one. What's wrong with my process? I will do it. Okay, insert, illustration, picture, this device. I chose English flyer and I will choose it back. Now it's appearing here. And believe me, you see it's very big. It's not even fitting in, but you have different ways to resize it. You see, it's a big image, but you can just, you see it's automatically selected. You can simply try to minimize it. Can minimize it and give it any size that you want. Now it's like fitting and we can really deal with it. Let's see what can you really do with this picture. When you select the picture or image after inserting it, you will automatically see this picture format. When you click here, you will see additional features that you couldn't see without clicking there. Like you see, this changes how your picture appears. You see, let me make it similar again for you to see the different changes being done. Like you see it's bringing some shadow, like flexion down. Let me choose this. You see this flexion here, the flexion of it. Let me change it to this one. You see the format is changed. You can see that. Let me change this. And finally, I like this one. You see, back to picture format, you can also change, like you see this color, you can change how it looks. Let's, for instance, make it a bit blur. You can go back and give it a different one if you find it not appealing or amazing to. Remember this one. You can add artistic effects. This is all about different changes that you can do on your image just to make sure it looks very, very, very great. Complex picture in the document to reduce size. This is about reducing size and we don't need that. For this time, change picture, remove or replace the selected picture while maintaining the size and position of the picture. You can just change this image and the other one you add will automatically fit in here. Let's practice it from this device again. Let's see something else that we can add there, and it will automatically fit in the same position with the same changes without necessarily having additional work on this one. You can see it's easily done. You can again go back to picture format. You can either add it like add icons, maybe online sources and so forth. So what else can you do with this image? Let's say you have some text passing behind this. Let me type some text. This is, you see, this is to show you why you should enroll in our French program. But this image is hiding the other part that we have behind there. So let's click this image, go to picture format and send it backward. Let's do it again. Like we will need to merge this area where there is our our sentence so that it appears that the image is just covering the the text. Now let's do send backward. Maybe we can I see this text is not helping. We can practice this by adding a shape, something like that I will explore. Then we can I want you to see how this feature of adding something backward or in front works. For instance, I've added a picture or a shape that is hiding a certain part of this image. Then let's say we click the image. Now we go to send in maybe forward. Now we want it to be forward. You see, instead of being hidden by this part of this shape, it's now hiding a certain part of this shape. You see now the entire French program is visible. So if we send it backward, a certain part of it will be hidden and the entire shape will be seen. Now I believe you can see this doable. Maybe not applicable with text, but now I believe you can easily practice the same thing. We can automatically keep on with a shape. You've seen that I went to insert, I went to illustrations, then I went to shapes. You can choose any shape according to what you would like to do with it. You can choose a circle, you can choose a line, you can choose, you see, basic shapes, lines recently used. These are the ones that I used the most, but you can choose a lot of flowcharts. You can choose, let's choose a star, for instance. It went a little bit down and I want it to be close here. You can also resize, can make it as big as you want, can make it as small as you also want. What are different features that you can do with this one? When you click it, you see shape format. When you click shape format, you see you can even insert some other shapes. You can change the colors, just these shape styles. You can change the way it looks. You have a lot of features that you can do with this one. You see shape fill. This is also about colors. You can make it a better yellow, like film color. This is, you see these ends, like the borders are in black. You can give it some shadow. I believe this is helping you see the changes that you can do with the image. You see this shadow. Let me choose this one. I believe you can see some shadow just around here. Back to shape format. Let me change it like this, like making it a 3D image. See how it's looking. So let's keep it like this and see something else that we can do from changing the way it looks. You can also just add some text within this image. I mean, with this shape. Let's do a left click, I mean right click, then you see edit text. You can say this is to prove that we still have hope to stand strong. Let's select it and change the text color to make it visible, because white is not being seen on the yellow background. Now you see what I've typed. I hope you can see that. This is to prove that we still have hope to stand strong. So you can still change the way it's appearing when, in case you think like the way you did it is not helping. See, the text was not being visible very well, but making it stay like this, you can easily read what you want to read. And because we've made this image being sent in the back, you see these last end, these small ends of the star are covering a certain part of the image we've added before. Again, clicking it back would give us some other features. We can also add like alternative text, like create text descriptions of objects for screen readers. You can add a text or a caption just to say this image is about this thing. Let's say you added a certain public figure and would like to describe them. Let's try it. Let's try it and see. You can say this is an image that was made back in 1950, for instance, simple like that. And like someone, we see that in case the image is not visible, when there are some technical issues hiding the image. So what else can we see here? Like view grid lines. This will make the background, like these small cells will be gone. You see, we no longer have color cells. You cannot see where a certain cell ends, and this is something good, but you can do it after having done all your presentations or dealing with all the changes would like to do on your file and send it to someone looking like this. Something I like, but we deal with that later. You can do it anytime. We can also change, this is shape height and this is width. You can minimize, you can increase, you can even come and type directly a certain number that you would like to add there, and I believe you see it's making changes to the image that we had. You can also drag it to a different area and move it somewhere else. We have a lot of things that we can do with our image. Let's get them close to each other. This has been a lot of importance for our learning. Great stuff. What else can we see under insert? Now, still under illustrations, we can add icons. I will just choose something very important for you. We are not going to see something that is not going to be of usage to you. This seems to work with internet, and in some cases it takes some time. But you see, like we have different icons, and for icons I will also not take a lot of time, but a different session will be important to deal with them. You see, you can use icons representing animals, you can use icons representing clothes. You see this one trying to show strength, you can see this one trying to give an announcement. You can use this one to show a pregnant woman. You can search, let's say, search bar. Can this one gives you like what you want to learn, your search didn't match, it was even coming. Yes, now we have one. Let's say I will have a video about adding a search bar in Excel, and maybe you want to show where it is. You can simply use that search bar icon to easily show where one can directly come and do the search. You see now you have it added, but I will not explore how to use this one. I just wanted to show you how you can add different icons. Maybe I can add, you can also customize it. You see graphics format, you can go, you change its color, you can change the way it appears. You have a lot of things that you can do with this icon. Convert to shape. You can also convert it to shape. You can change graphic, you can change it to an image or something else from your device. You can also go again and change it into a different icon, and of course it will fit in the same position. Let's this a like airplane mode, and click insert. You select and you click insert. You see it's changed into an airplane and fitting the same place with the same changes that we've made on the very first image. We can also add another one to see if we need something else to practice about them, and believe that there will be a video about making these icons operational, because they can be quick and be responsive when you enable that. Maybe let's add this um, this is announceable. Let's this add this message icon. Once you double click, it goes there automatically without necessarily clicking on insert. You saw how I changed it. You can also crop. You can crop some parts. For instance, I want only these dots to remain, so I can remove the other parts of it. For instance, I can again add height and width. I can add and minimize. I can send backward. Let me get it here and try the send backward and forward. Like this is backward, and now you can see this image is lapping a certain part of the icon, because I selected that this image in this icon, in case it's overlapping with something else like an image or a picture, it has to be hidden instead of being the one being visible. But I can change and bring it forward, and now you can see a certain part of this shape is hidden, and you can see it from this empty holes. Now that there is this blue color in behind, because this white hole means the area is not covered. You can see that once I bring it here, you can see we have white, I mean blue color behind, like in these dots, three dots. These are holes. Great. What else can we do with this that is not very advanced, simply because we have a different time to deal with them? You see, we can convert it into a shape, and the changes we made are gone. You see, the cropping is gone and so forth. Now we no longer have graphics format, but we have shape format. But if we do Ctrl Z, we have the same now, graphics format. Let's keep it as a graphic and see what we can again do with insert under illustrations. And of course, again, if you are able to practice all this after me, congrats again. You're really achieving great milestones. Let's again create illustrations. For three models, I think I will skip them. They are not of really high usage because I don't even have them on my device. But let's go to SmartArt. You can add a SmartArt, and SmartArt is all about trying to show relationships or how things proceed. Maybe you can add a circle. Let's say that this is about, let's try to move it. Let's do Ctrl Z and have it in a place where you can see a lot of features being done. We don't need to get lost simply because we are doing things. You can choose list, process, cycle, hierarchy, relationship. But let's maybe go to a cycle and choose this one. Now you see, let's say this is number one, and it's like primary. Let's say it's a life cycle for someone to be a professional, and this is primary schools, primary education. Now the number two, high school or secondary education. Maybe tertiary or secondary university education. Maybe this is and this was number three. Now let's say this is number four, and it's job search and upskilling. And now number four, number five, which is final, for instance. This is not the real process that you should believe in. We're just trying to see how you can go about it, rendering it. But of course, in whatever you don't believe, don't include upskilling because you really need it. Now you see we have added our smart art, but what can we do with it? You see we have smart. When you select an area around just where you have your smart art, we see these features, these tabs, new tabs popping up. We have smart art design and format. Let's go to smart art design. You can change colors. You see these change colors. You can change them like this. You can change them to make them into different colors, not a single color. Like something that would be really pleasing to you. And I will prefer this one with different colors. It looks much better. You can also change layouts. You see we have circles, but you can change them into arrows like this. You can change them into rectangles like this. You can change them into something else. This should be a different type that would require different data. The one wouldn't fit our example that we are trying, but this one would be fitting. And you see when you select the smart art, here you have type your text here. You have new, like where you can add. Once I have my cursor here and I click enter, a new smart art will be added, and I can say number 6 onboarding, for instance. When I click enter again, I will have another new one added, and I call it number 7, glowing in or out in the organization that hired you. This is something that I liked on my very first employer. The HR used to say she wanted people to grow in or out. She never wanted the people to stay in the same circle. Something that was of motivation to me. Yep. So this is what you can do with SmartArt. You can still go back and change it into something else. See, like these are styles, different styles that I'm check changing to. You have a lot of things that you can do with this one. You can again go back and make it a circle, so like circles. You can again change colors, make it a single color smart art. You have different things. You can convert this into shapes, and if you convert them into shapes, you will no longer see like uh the other feature of smart design, but you will see shape format. And these images or shapes, they will be operating separately. Selecting one of them doesn't affect the other, while when they are like a smart art, selecting one automatically goes like selecting around them selects the entire smart art, and the changes you apply will apply to the entire smart art. But again, you can also select a single smart art of them. You can also do that. Let's say I want to change only this number 7. I will come and select it. Let me make it a different color, maybe. This would be maybe not possible unless I can change maybe the text within here. Can make it bold, I can make it italic, and you can see the rest of the smart arts are not being changed. I can make it underlined. I can change style like font type and font size. You see a lot of things can be done in smart arts, and this font size would be very big and it wouldn't fit in. Let me make it 10 instead. Now you can see that you can change just one when you need, but you can't change its color unless you use this thing of changing a certain, like just the words written inside a certain art or smart art. So what comes when you click on format? Like this will also bring you the same thing we saw on images. You can shape fill, yeah, that that is about changing the background color where you have your smart art. Let's make it yellow. You can like change the color of a certain shape. If you want to change a single shape, you can do it under format. It's not, let me check again. Again, not working, but it's changed even though it's not appearing really well. Let's try this with this one and see. This would be the one giving us a visible change. Like only the background of this smart art is changing into black. If you can see these last ends, they are black, while these ones are not. So you can also change like how these letters written in appear, like as seen. You see, when I select here and I go to format, then I choose word, like word art styles. I need to select it. I go format and I choose this one. You can see it changed, and because they are very big, they cannot be led. I do Ctrl Z to get rid of that. I can also text fill, like changing how the text is looking. Let's see. And simply I'm changing this one because it's the only one I selected. But if I select the entire SmartArt and do a certain change, apply certain change, it will change the entire SmartArt. You can see the text changing. I believe you find this really amazing. Text effect, they can create shadow, they can create a reflection, but these are not of really high usage. I wouldn't worry about having them. You see this follow path, like you can choose how you want the text to be presented in smart arts. You can see they're being written as a circle. Let's try this and see. Like this is making it be written on the top of the circle. This is on the bottom. This is like a circle. This is having some circles and some letters written in between. You see this one has changed. I believe you find this really amazing. You can also change it again. I just you select the SmartArt, you go to format under word art styles, then you go to text effects, then you go to transform, then you can choose whatever like form you choose, you like any style that you would like to have. You can choose anything that really suits your preference. I hope the as I move the mouse, you can see how it's changing. And you need to make sure your data stays readable. Don't do something simply because it's really looking good. Make sure it's firstly readable. You need your data to be read by those who access it. You see, like this one would really hardly be read, but this one, for instance, can be read, or this one. So make sure you use a style that is readable and not complicating your audience. I think I don't need to discuss about alternative text again because it's something that a viewer will see in case the SmartArt or the image or whatever is not visible. Let's see what comes with arrange. You see bring back. Let's say it's lapping up with a certain image or shape. You can also bring it back, send it back. You can maybe you remember the view grid lines, something very important, but we do it later after walking around everything. Can do Ctrl Z to get rid of it. You can also resize. You see increasing height, increasing width. Like you can increase everything using this one, or just you can also come and extend these ones using these, and like you can see this one, you can drag and pull. It simply works. I believe you find this one very, very important. Let's try to lap something over it and try to show. I would just want to show you how you can use send back and send forth. You see this one. This is the other icon we've added, and it has automatically gone behind the smart art, simply because that's the setting we've applied when we were working on this icon. But now let's set that the smart art has to go backward and see, even though they'll be both having the same setting. Send backward. Now we have the icon lapping up a certain part of this smart art. You will also know that's the same case simply by seeing this yellow here, because I told you these white areas are holes, meaning you can see in the back of them. Let's maybe add it here. You can do a lot of things. You can maybe add a description in this icon. You have different things that you can do. There are many things that are doable with Excel, and you need to stay tuned to make sure you don't lose any of them. Let's make it a bit smaller for you to see the entire SmartArt and the changes we've made about it. So how do you get this course? How are you really appreciating the new skills you are gaining? I believe with smart arts you understand this. I can simply show you that you can add many smart arts. You can add like a list of some stuffs. Let's say a list of text one. You see, let's say you would like to add a table of content using Excel. Maybe the first here you have typed your title as table of content. Now you say introduction. Clicking enter means you're going to the next smart art introduction. Um, Executive summary, background, methodology, and so forth. I think we don't need to go through the entire features because they are the same one, similar with what we've seen here. I was trying to show you how you can do different things, but you see smart art design, you can again change the way your data can be presented. You can change colors, you can change a lot of things, and maybe to manage time we not go through everything. I think you find this easy and transferable to other types of smart arts, because you can add like processes. You can add a process like how things are done. Maybe let's say we'd like to talk about process of making sales, generating leads, for instance, following up, making a sale, and following up to maintain customer. For instance, we're trying to show that like uh, the process of making sales starts with generating leads, following up, making a sale, and again following up to make sure the customer is not at a certain time gone. Sometimes you can make sale from a certain individual, but a failure to follow up with them would mean they will buy once and not buy again. And we are not talking about sales. That was simply an example of what you can do with a smart art. I'm trying to get it where it's not overlapping with something else. Yes, something like this. So I believe you find the skills transferable, like I said. You see, we also have how to change colors. We can convert it to shapes, and that we mean this is a separate image, this is a separate image, and this is a separate one. And you see, this smart art make it easy. Some people would need to do something like this, and they will need to come, go to shapes, add an arrow like this, then come again and add um, like in shapes like rectangles like this. They go to format each and every one separately, while adding a smart art will easily help you add, like, change and format the images at the same time, which is the easiest and shortest. I believe for smart arts we are done. But then how about screenshot? You can also add a screenshot. Available windows. Like they are showing you available windows. If there are many, you can choose which one you would like to take a screenshot of. And now that I have only this one, I will now say it's the one I would like to take a screenshot of, like screen clipping. Then I can select a certain area that I would like to take a picture of. Over here, is it gone? It's now here. I don't want to delete anything because I want you to be referring every time to what we are doing. You see the screenshot that we've taken. It's now here. It has been duplicated. I can do it one. I did it 2 times. I mean, let me. This one is the one I did first, and you see it looks like the other one. Due to the big size it had, it couldn't be cropped where I had my cursor or my mouse, which was around here, because we have this table, we have these icons and images. So that's why the image or the screenshot has automatically gone to a different area, which is this one. So you will still have picture formats in Excel. Anytime you select the image and let's do it, you can change the way it appears into a circle, and I will need to minimize it for us to see different changes that I'm applying. And this one, let's get rid of it again and remain with this one to make sure we can see how changes are being applied. Now I have the image. Let's minimize a bit again. See, selecting it again gives us this picture format. We can crop it, fill fit, crop to shape. You can crop it into a certain shape. Let's make it like this, for instance. You can again change it, crop to shape, and maybe make it a triangle. You can do a lot of things with cropping. You can also increase or decrease the height. You can do the same with width. You can also send back or bring forward anytime you have something else around it. You can also view grid lines. You can remove background in case you have, but this is something I don't find a great idea for with this image. You can change colors. can change the way it looks, artistic effects. You can change it from we like using icons or from online sources. We even didn't try online sources. When you go to online, you click, it takes time to load online images. You can directly choose something that appears or just come and search. Let's say a pile of books and see what happens. Let's choose this one to automatically be applied following the settings we have applied, like the format that we have given the very first image. And I believe you can see it right here. So this is it with screenshot taking. You can drag it, you can move it to any area, you can delete, you can do any changes like we did on images and other features that we have added. And now I would like to add some empty columns just here because we are going to deal with other stuffs that shouldn't overlap with these images that we have added. And of course, we need all of them. Now you can see we have an empty space here between the table and